Is the Iowa City real estate market in a bubble, and are we going to see a crash? As much as I hate the fear-mongering and sensationalism of those two words, bubble and crash, they seem to be the topic of so many conversations that I am having with clients. So you know what that means. When you're having the same conversation over and over with people, well, that means it's a video topic. I recently read an interesting article on Fortune.com that analyzed CoreLogic's data about 400 different housing markets here in the US. Everybody knows that the US housing market has been red hot since the pandemic supercharged people's desire for a place to call their own, paired with the very low interest rates we saw in 2021. Nationally, we saw home price values jump over 20% just in this last year, but that was at a rate 4 times greater than people's income growth. That disconnect is unsustainable according to just basic fundamentals of economics. Despite this, according to Moody's chief economist Mark Zandi, these two factors do not equal a housing bubble. Zandi says a bubble would require both speculation-driven price growth and overvaluation. At this time, many US markets only have one of these factors in play, overvaluation. In many of the 400 markets tracked by CoreLogic's, home prices are now priced ahead of what economic data about incomes in those areas support. Some prime examples of overvalued markets are Austin, Boise, and Charlotte. CoreLogic is calling 67.9% of US regional housing markets overvalued, 24.5% of housing markets normal, and 7.6% undervalued. A different analysis by Moody Analytics done earlier in May of this year came back with a more bearish finding, calling 97% of US cities as overvalued. Despite some regional markets being significantly overvalued, economist Zandi says he predicts that only the most extremely overpriced areas will see prices drop. In his estimation, in the range of 5 to 10%. But that nationally, we will not see home price improvement across the board. Rather, by this time next year, he just predicts that the year-over-year home growth will be at 0. Overvalued housing markets are now feeling the squeeze as mortgage rates have gone from around 3% to over 5% in the last few months. New home sales, existing home sales, and mortgage applications are all decreasing, and inventory is rising as sellers rush to cash in while they still can. Given that somewhat dire sounding picture, CoreLogic is still predicting that US home prices will rise an additional 5.9% over the next 12 months. But some markets do have increased odds of seeing dips in prices. According to a May 31st, 2022 Fortune.com article, in order to determine the likelihood of house prices dropping, CoreLogic looked at data such as income growth projections, unemployment forecasts, consumer confidence, debt-to-income ratios, affordability, mortgage rates, and housing inventory. From there, each housing market was put into one of 5 groupings. Very high, with over a 70% chance of a price dip. High, which is 50 to 70% chance. Medium, 40 to 50% chance. Low, a 20 to 40% chance. And very low, a 0 to 20% chance of seeing price dips. Anytime you try to understand real estate on a local level using national level data, you are painting with the wrong brush. One size does not fit all. So what gives here in the greater Iowa City area when it comes to home prices? Is the Iowa City metro overvalued? Despite being one of the most expensive places to live in the state of Iowa, the greater Iowa City area is not overvalued according to CoreLogic data. In fact, the region's housing prices are considered normal for this area's economic factors. And CoreLogic's data gives the Iowa City region a very low chance of seeing home values drop. On the flip side, Moody Analytics' more bearish data calls Iowa City only slightly overvalued at 10%, meaning current housing prices in the Iowa City area are only a little inflated from where one from where one would expect them to be given our area's economic dynamics. As I have said all along, when looking at the greater Iowa City area real estate market, I do not see our market crashing, nor do I think that we are locally in a housing bubble. Yes, our housing prices have jumped higher than our normal average rate of appreciation in the last 2 years, but they have not skyrocketed nearly the way home prices have in other markets across the nation. As always, the Iowa City area's housing market is insulated due to the University of Iowa, and our market seems to subscribe to a motto of moderation. Slow and steady, people. I agree with both Moody and CoreLogic's prediction that we may see a year or two of zero price growth as the real estate market stabilizes, but I do not think that locally we will see any significant dip in home prices. If you're waiting for our market to crash before you make a purchase, I don't think it will, and I would caution you that if interest rates continue to rise, your purchasing power will only decrease. If you're waiting to sell in hopes that we will continue to reach new levels of house price stratosphere, I think we're at the top and the market changes are afoot. That's going to cool off our current seller's market, and your chances of giving an offer that is extremely advantageous to you as a seller will decrease. Hey, I would love to hear your thoughts about our real estate market here in the greater Iowa City area and what you see happening in the future. Leave me a comment down below. Hey, it's been fun, and I'll catch you later.